Hey, hey, what's going on, everybody? Are you, hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Good.
I
How are
appreciate
you?
I'm doing phenomenal. I appreciate you coming to hang out with me for a little bit during this Airbnb Olympic and Paralympic Festival. Such a phenomenal time to share with each other since the Olympics and Paralympics aren't happening in 2020. But I want to start by, let's see. Let's do a little simple question to kick this off. And I want us to go around and first say your name. And second, I want you to, if you were to suddenly lose your sight, what would you most miss seeing? Or vice versa, if you just may be blind or low vision, what would you want to see? So I'm gonna kick this off. I am Lex Gillette, and if I could see anything or anyone, I would want to see Rihanna. Let's now let's start. Let me see. Let's kick this off with who's next. Let's just nominate each other as we go along. Danielle.
Okay, I'm Danielle Rogers. If I were to suddenly lose my sight, you asked what would I miss?
Who or what would you most miss seeing?
Okay, I think I would most miss seeing my brother. We're really close. So we're essentially twins. We're 364 days apart. So I don't know my life without him. So I would miss him the most, seeing him. He has a good smile. So yeah.
Good answer. Good answer. Nominate the next person.
I am going to go for Miss Andrea.
Hello. My name's actually Andrea, but I get called Andrea all the time. That's okay. Andrea, if I were to lose my sight suddenly, I think I would miss seeing the mountains. I live in Colorado, so I love seeing waking up and seeing them with the fresh snow or when the sun's setting. So I think that it never gets old. That's what I'd miss most.
That's awesome. Who are we nominating?
I see on my screen Barbara Leeton.
Yes. I don't know why it doesn't have my current picture. Does it show me live?
You still look good, Barbara. You look good.
Okay, whatever. Okay, so what I would miss most is I'm expecting my first grandchild in November, and I would be so sad if I missed seeing that precious face.
That's a really good one. That's a good one.
That would
Who
be
are we
really
nominating?
Fun. Okay. Who else is on here?
We have Greg. We have.
Okay, I'll nominate Greg. I don't have a gallery. Oh gosh, we have a lot of people. Okay, Greg.
Oh, hey there. Yeah, so my name is Greg Lindbergh from Florida, and I am actually low vision myself, but I used to have a little better vision. And I think, kind of like some of what you guys have already said, seeing people's faces and their smiles is something I do miss.
Awesome. So, Greg, we have a Katie. We have a Connie. We have a couple of people in Emily to nominate.
Let's go for Connie.
Hi. My field is in design and other visual effects, so I would sort of miss everything. I think in particular about the nature of the visual artistic world and how we express in that format. And I will nominate Anish.
Hi, everyone. This is Anish here. I actually had pretty close shave with that in my teenage years. So I'd say I'd miss my parents the most because they saw me through that time, and I'm lucky to be where I am today.
Right. That's really good. Who would you nominate?
Let's see who else is left. I'm trying to think of people that haven't spoken yet. So has Christine gone already?
No. Hi, Lex. Hi, everyone. I'm Christine Barg, and I'm in Florida as well, close to the beach. I think if I were to lose my sight suddenly, the night sky, the waves, the stars would be something I think I would miss tremendously.
That's
Thank
really
you.
good. That's really good. Who would you nominate?
I would nominate Chris.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris from England, from the UK. So I think I was going to say my parents, but thinking about it over the past 60 seconds or so, I don't know how I would choose people in my life. I think I'd miss all of them equally. So I was going to say parents, but just generally people. I don't know, have we had Katie?
No, not yet.
So.
I'm in the UK as well. I was going to say my parents, but honestly, the first thing that popped into my mind was the beach. So I'll be honest. And I'll nominate, I think Barbara, did we?
I think Barbara went.
Yeah, I went.
Let's see. We've had Barbara, Danielle, Greg, Chris, Christine, Anish. Did we cover everybody? Did someone not go?
I think that was everyone.
I think we might be good, huh? Awesome. Y'all make me feel bad. You chose parents. You chose natural scenes. I chose a celebrity.
There you go.
But let's kick this off. First and foremost, I'm sorry, shout out to everyone on YouTube. I understand there may be some individuals out there who are watching from YouTube. So I want to invite each and every single one of you here into our session. And my name is Lex Gillette. And just to give you a little information about myself, I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina in the United States, on the East Coast. And up until I was 8 years old, I was doing what the average kid would do. I would ride my bicycle. I played outside with friends. I played dodgeball and basketball and so many other activities. But once I began to get a little older, I started experiencing sight loss. And it was random, no accident, nothing that I could specifically point to and say that, oh, this is what's causing my loss of sight. And I can remember I was actually in the bathroom and I was getting myself ready for bed when I noticed that things were looking blurry and they were faint. I told my mom, and she was thinking that maybe I had gotten something in my eyes from playing outside earlier that day. So we took some water and we cleaned my eyes out. It made it feel better, but it didn't clear my sight any. So the next thought was to maybe go to sleep, wake up in the morning, everything will be okay. When I woke up, nothing had changed. So we went to the doctor, and after an examination, they said I needed to have an emergency operation because I was suffering from retina detachments. Now, typically, retina detachments, you hear that happens with a lot of like boxers. They're punching and they're taking shots to the head, right? So that is a blunt force that could cause that type of situation. Or as we begin to get older and things start to decline slowly here and there, you might experience that as well. But for 7, 8-year-old boy, I couldn't really think of anything specifically that I could point to and say, hey, this is what caused that. So I had one operation. I could see well for about 3 or 4 weeks. And after that time, my sight began to get blurry again. This time, even more than what it was the time before. We went back to the doctor, had another examination and said, hey, you're having retina detachments again. We need to operate. Had a second operation. I could see well for another few weeks. After that time, same problem happened again. Sight was even more blurred than the time before. Had to have another operation. So that was the pattern for the entire time that I was 8 years old. And after the 10th operation that I had that year, the doctors basically said that, hey, there's nothing else we can do to to help your sight, and you're probably going to become blind. You're going to lose your sight. I think at 8 years old, I mean, there's a number of things that go through your mind, but I think that for me, it was, all right, well, am I going to be able to play my video games still? Am I going to be able to hang out with my friends and ride my bicycle and play around in the neighborhood, do all of the things that I was so used to doing? And finally, the routine was go home, go through my homework, normal routine, eventually go to sleep at night, wake up the next morning, and I would see a little less than what I did the day before until one day I woke up and I couldn't make out much of anything. So that's when, reality, it hits you in the chest, right? And it's just like, wow, this is it. But fortunately, I have my mom, she's really phenomenal. Shout out to my mom. She may be on the YouTube live stream. I'm not sure, but shout out to my mom. I love her. And she said that, you know what, we're going to ensure that you're able to be successful in life. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that you grow and become the person that not only that I want you to become, but the person that you want to become. And I always say, I joke around and kid a lot. And so I always say like, oh man, she put me through boot camp. She wanted me to wash dishes. She wanted me to take out the trash. She wanted me to clean my room. She wanted me to clean the bathroom and all of these things. But these are all essential things that we all need to do, right? Like you want to make sure your house is clean, you're able to do everything that you need to do in terms of daily tasks so that everything is good. And so she was instilling those things into me at an early age. But one of the things that she encouraged me to do is continue to write. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, Lex, like, why? You're blind. And which is a good question. Like, why would I write? But there is one thing that we all have to do, whether we are, let me see, you go to the restaurant, right? You buy food, they print out a receipt. And at the end of the receipt, what do you have to do? You have to sign your signature, right? If you go to the doctor and you're filling out paperwork, at the end of the paperwork, you have to do what? You have to sign your signature. And so that was one of the things that she encouraged me to do. So right now, I want us to move into trying this out. Are you ready? You ready?
Yep.
So if you have a sheet of paper and a pen, number one, first and foremost, the first rule is you have to close your eyes, or if you have a blindfold or a sleep shade or something. We can't have any cheaters in here. No cheaters allowed. And we are going to take our pen and we are going to, number one, we're going to practice signing our name. Now, for my YouTubers out there, if you want to participate as well, grab a sheet of paper, grab your pen, and let's try to sign our name. I'm going to get myself together right now because, let's see. Okay, so in 1, 2, 3, let's sign our signature first. Oh no. I'm not bragging or anything. I kind of do this a little bit. So it might, who knows? It could look ugly. It might look good. I don't know. So if you had a sleep shade on, if you have your eyes closed, open your eyes, take your sleep shade off or your blindfold off. I want you to look at mine first. Let me know if I need to raise it up or lower it.
You're good.
I'm good.
You're good.
That's mine. That's me, Lex Gillette. Me all day. Now I want you to look at yours. How does yours look? Look good? Does it look any different from what you would see when you write it with your eyes open? What do you think?
Mine looks pretty good.
Yeah?
Well, I cheated. I have lined paper, so I knew to start at that position.
Nah. Okay. Now,
not too far from what I thought, actually.
Really?
Pretty good. Yeah.
That was good. I think, you know what, and I also think that when you sign we all have we have a routine when we sign our signature, right? And some people, I've heard in the past, some people are like, oh, mine looks like chicken scratch, or it just looks like this. So, but let's bump it up a little bit. So I want us to, number one, if you're participating, I want you to close your eyes again. And now I want you to not sign your signature, but print your name, letter by letter. You ready? 1, 2, 3, go. All right. I have mine. You can open your eyes or take your blindfold off. This is what mine is. It's in the bottom of this sheet of paper now.
I think you have to move it up a little.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Bingo. Is it legible?
Very legible.
Very legible. Are you playing with me? Or are you serious?
No, it's legible.
Serious.
Okay. Now, is yours legible?
Yeah.
Mine fell off a cliff, though.
Legible, but like third grade.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Legible, but like a third grader wrote it.
Okay.
Same.
Okay. All right. Let's try one more thing. Now we're going to, whatever your occupation is, will increase the difficulty a little bit. I want you to write what your occupation is, but remember to close your eyes. YouTubers out there, if you're participating as well, close your eyes, write what your occupation is. 1, 2, 3, go. Boom. There we go. If you're done, close your eyes, blindfold off. I feel like I had to choose the most obvious one. I do a lot of things, but this is what mine looks like. Do I need to lift it up or down?
You're good.
Are we legible or are we not legible?
It's legible enough.
I hear some haters in the room, man.
I'll say it's easier to write your name.
It is. That is true. That is true, definitely. So that was one of the things that my mom encouraged me to do. I think that is certainly something that we all have to do. And actually, let me show you a very practical, simple piece of equipment, if I want to call it that. But let me know if I need to lift it up or down. This is it's called a signature guide. And so I usually keep this in my wallet so that if I'm ever in an area or a place where I need to sign my name, then I can pull this out. And for someone who doesn't know, then I can say, hey, I have this signature guide, and can you line this up with the line where I need to sign my name? So in this rectangle, I'm able to sign Lex Gillette. It's neat, it's easy to use, and it just makes everything kind of, just really simple. And as you can see, it's the size of a credit card or a debit card. So it easily slides into my wallet. So I always make sure that I keep that on me in case I need to sign that John Hancock, So I eventually learned how to read Braille. I learned how to use a cane so I can navigate on my own, but I found sport when I was in high school. And specifically, I found track and field. There was a fitness test that I had to participate in my mom, she kept me in mainstream school. So I was in public school, and I was one of the best standing long jumpers in our school back in Raleigh. Excuse me. I could stand in one place and I could jump forward 10 feet. So that's a little over 3 meters. So of course people are like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely amazing. This is crazy. This guy, he can't see anything, but he's jumping super far. That's wild. And my coach, my teacher slash eventual coach, Brian Whitmer, told me about the Paralympics and potentially being able to represent Team USA on the global stage. And he took me down to the track and he showed me everything about the long jump. He showed me the runway and how long it was, how wide it was, where the takeoff point was, the takeoff board that's in the ground. He also showed me the long jump pit, how wide it was, how long it was. And what that was doing was creating this image or this vision of what I would be participating in. And so I always talk about, for me, I think that it was a blessing in a lot of ways to be able to have seen a little bit. And when I have people who explain certain things and they're very descriptive, it feels as like I can see it within my mind, and I'm able to gain a lot more comfortability and confidence when I'm tackling whatever that task is. So him explaining that to me was like, oh, okay, this is cool. But it still presented definitely some uncomfort, if you will, discomfort. And it was scary, but how we did it was he said that, you know what, I'm going to stand at the takeoff board where you need to run and jump from, and I'm going to clap and yell for you. Straight, 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 straight. Since I can't see anything, I listen to him. I know which direction that I need to run. And once I get to the appropriate step or stride, then I jump and land in the sand. Now, of course, in the beginning, it was something really simple. It was taking 4 or 5 strides and jumping into the sand. Then as I began to get more comfortable with that, then it was backing up to 8 strides, to 10 strides, 12, 14, 16. But it was certainly a transition, of course, as you can imagine. Now I want to show you just a couple videos as to how it works. So this first, if we can show video 1, this is actually a video from a competition that I was competing in, and you'll be able to hear and see what's going on here. If we can show the video 1, please.
Ooh, there you go.
Can we show it one more time?
Ooh, there you go.
There we go. You can hear my coach's big mouth. Coach Jeremy Fisher, if you're on the YouTube live, shout out to you. Great coach. That particular jump was about 6.50 meters, that's over 21 feet. And you can hear my guide, Wesley Williams, he was yelling, fly, 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 fly. So that's the call that he gives me right now. Let's move to the second video, which is from my perspective. I was actually wearing a GoPro when I recorded this video. We can play video 2.
Ready? Yeah. So good.
No.
Fly, 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 fly,
You
fly,
fly?
fly, 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 fly,
Boom, you can hear me panting a little bit. That's tiring. Running a little bit and trying to make sure that I'm doing my job right. But so with that video, one of the biggest things for me, of course, is running straight and running in a straight line. You want to make sure that you are running straight as fast as possible. For me, I'm making sure that I'm listening to my guide. And that particular video was what we call a run through. There's a certain pattern that we have when we're on the long jump runway. So when we start, you start very slow, if you will, relatively speaking. And for me, I take 16 strides. So for example, it sounds like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So as you continue moving down the runway, you want to pick up that speed so that once it's time to jump, you can get out there in the sand pit. Now, video 3 that I want to show you is another video from my perspective. However, the last one was just me running through the long jump pit itself. This one, I'm actually landing inside of the pit. If we can show video 3, please.
Out, out, out. Fly, 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 fly. There you go. Much better.
Boom. So I'm not sure if you noticed, but when the video came on, you could hear my guide, Wesley, yelling out, 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 out. So when we set up, he gives me different signals. So he sets me up on my starting mark when we begin the event. And then he jogs to the opposite end where the long jump pit is, and he sets himself up. And then again, he gives me cues to let me know, okay, do you need to shift your body to this direction or that direction? So when you hear him say out, 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 that means that I'm shifting my shoulders this direction. If he says in, I'm shifting my shoulders to this direction. And that's the mechanism that we've developed between the two of us to know when, to know how I need to set myself up. So we can play video 3 one more time. I want you to listen to the beginning when he says out, 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 out.
Out, out, out. Fly, 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 fly. There you go.
Boom. So we land in the sand. He says out, out, out to make sure I'm pointed straight down the runway. That gives me the best possible ability to run straight and jump into the sand pit. And at the end of the video, you were able to see Jeremy Fisher. You could hear him again. I don't know what I was doing, but it didn't sound like he was very happy with what I did, my coach. But the next video, okay, I want you to imagine yourself trying to do this drill that we do without the ability to see. If we can play video 4, the hurdle video. Boom, 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 boom. Insane. So for anyone who may not have been able to see that video, there's an assortment of hurdles that are set up. And so what my coach does is he sets them up in a way where we have to jump over them and maneuver our body over the hurdles successfully. So the first action is jump forward. Then there's a hurdle to your left, and you have to jump to your left. Then you jump to your forward again. There's a hurdle in front of you. Then there's one to your right. You jump to the right. There's a hurdle in front of you. You jump in front. There's a hurdle to your left. You jump to the left-hand side. A hurdle in front of you. You jump forward. Can we play video 4 one more time, please? Boom. Forward, right, forward, left, forward. So that was absolutely insane. If you're on mute right now, I want you to unmute yourself. From 1 to 10, in terms of difficulty, 10 being the hardest, How hard do you think that is, not being able to see those and doing that?
10.5.
100. I get it. It was definitely, and it looks like that right now. And that was something that I had to get over that, you know. But what helped me was first determining how the hurdles were positioned, and then determining how much space I had to actually jump successfully, because at the end of the day, I didn't want to hurt myself for sure. But the name of the game, we're always trying to challenge ourselves and always trying to get better. So my coach, he's very much so, Coach Fisher is very much the type of person where he's like, look, there are Olympians, Paralympians, Olympic hopefuls, and Paralympic hopefuls in our group. We're going to challenge everybody to do the same activities. So there's not too many things that that are different between the bunch. So shout out to him, because he always encourages me and pushes me to try out everything. And if it is something that seems to be or is more difficult, then we'll make an adjustment. But that is very rare. So I want to show you, before we kind of take a little stroll around my training facility, I want to show you. So number one, when I compete, I have to wear a blindfold, and I want to ensure that there's a level playing field across all of the competitors, no cheaters. If you just so can happen to see something, we need you to wear a blindfold. And so this is the blindfold that I wear. It's a little different from everyone else's, I think. Is a beautiful blue color, my favorite color. And it is a goggle or eye mask. You can't see anything through these when you wear them. So the officials, they always make sure that our blindfolds meet the requirements. But Nike had made this for me in the lead up to Rio, and it makes me look like an absolute superhero when I compete. And the other cool thing, a lot of people don't notice or know this, and let me know if I need to move the blindfold up or down, but on the inside of it is Braille. I'm not sure if you can see it. Can anyone see it? Can you let me know?
Yep.
Yes.
On this side?
Yeah, you could see it.
Yep. So it says, no fear. No fear.
That's awesome.
Everything that we do, competition-wise, navigating through life, no fear. Don't let the fear consume us. It's a normal feeling, but we can conquer it. Each competition is different. Each experience is different. Every activity that we may go through in life is different, but we can totally conquer whatever discomfort or fear that comes along with that. I also want to show you this is my medal from Rio. It's silver. And on this side, you can see that it has Braille on it as well. It says Rio 2016. Mm-hmm. Then on this side, it has the Paralympic symbol and a few impressions that you can tactily feel. Now, the really cool thing about this medal is when you shake it, can you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It makes a sound. Why do you think it makes a sound? Somebody give me an answer. Christine, Barbara, Greg, why would you think this medal makes a sound? Danielle, Katie, somebody knows. If you know.
Oh, is it because are there real silver particles in it?
Almost.
Okay.
Who? What we got? Who we got?
To be able to find it.
To be able to find it, that's a good one too. I sometimes lose mine around my place. That's a good answer. Not quite though. Chris, you know?
The different medals have different. Do the different medals have different sounds?
The different medals have different sounds. Bingo. Get them Enterprise.
Nice.
Gold, silver, and bronze, 3 different color medals. have 3 different sounds. So for the athletes who are blind and visually impaired, they can shake their medals and know what color they are. So that's the one from Rio. This particular one is from our World Championships in 2019. This one is gold. So of course I love this one. And this has like a totally different type of shape. It's rounded, but then it also has this little piece right here that protrudes. On the back side, it says Dubai 2019. Dubai is the location where we were. Really great time. And this one is not as heavy as the one from Rio, but still a medal that I definitely love and appreciate for sure. So now that I've showed you those things, I would love to give you a little tour around the facility where I have been living and training in preparation for Tokyo. You ready for that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let me grab I'm gonna actually grab my phone. And just as a side note, my cell phone has a screen reader on it. And so I'm able to text, send emails, all of those types of things that we typically do because of the screen reader that I have on my phone. So hold on for 1 second, please. Okay. We got some audio and bingo, we have video. Can you see my face?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
let me. We are going to change the view of this. And bingo, here we go. So this is where I was sitting, right? And let me know at any point if you need me to lift the phone up or down, let me know. And I could totally do that. But I have my desk here. This is where I was sitting. And I have my keyboard here. You never know when that inspiration is going to hit, when you need to play a little music. And then you have the bathroom here to the left-hand side. So yeah, this has basically been my home for the past little bit. But what we're going to do is we're going to step outside. So here, and I don't even think I mentioned this earlier, but I'm in Southern California, San Diego, Chula Vista, which is about 20 minutes down south from downtown San Diego. We're gonna bust this left-hand turn and walk down some stairs. And also, as a side note too, feel free. This is a nice little walk or so. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask them. Right now, I am passing our resident laundromat here. You know, you don't want your gym clothes and workout clothes to be smelling bad. So I got to use that.
Can we ask you questions about anything?
Absolutely. I'm actually just walking in between the resident buildings right now. We have somewhere in the range of like 170, 180 beds for athletes to come and utilize. So you have on-site athletes who stay here for the duration of the year. And then you may have some athletes who just want to come for short term. They may come for recovery.
They may come for just wanting to train with a particular coach for 2-3 months. So, but since we're dealing with the pandemic right now, there's not too many people here. But in a normal Olympic and Paralympic year, it could be anywhere from like 400, 500 people training on this complex.
You showed us
So
medals from so many different cities like Rio and Dubai. When you go to these new locations, how do you like to experience them?
that's a really good question. I think that first and foremost, from the competition standpoint, you want to go out there and compete and prepare and make sure that mentally you're ready for that. But outside of that, having the opportunity to experience different cultures is fun. You have the food, you have just the sounds as well. When I go to different countries, they have a different sound, they have a different type of feel, they have different activities and things that are important to them. So while I have the opportunity, it's really great to be able to learn and become educated because it's a once in a lifetime type of opportunity.
How would you
Really
describe
good.
the sound of Rio and Dubai?
Rio, I would say was, I didn't really get out as much in Rio, to be honest, in comparison to a lot of the other places. So I can't give the greatest observation from my perspective. Dubai, I went out a little bit. Very wealthy country, a lot of just money everywhere. It just feels like money. And it was, it was certainly a lot of fun for sure. I would love to go there and have the opportunity to just kind of explore and go to the, excuse me, just go to some of the more like historical and popular places. So those are really good questions, by the way. So right here where I am, I'm at an intersection. So this is kind of like the main intersection at our facility, right? So when you think about crossing the street without being able to see, a lot of people are like, well, how do you do it? And so for me, it is you watch and look to the left and right to make sure there are no cars coming. I am essentially doing the same thing when I'm listening. So I don't hear anything to the left. I don't hear anything to the right. I know it's safe. So we're gonna walk across the street. Have my cane in my left hand, phone in my right. Funny story, we were in college one time and one of my buddies and I, we had gotten the late night munchies. So he said, oh man, let's go to Krispy Kreme. So for those who don't know, Krispy Kreme it's a donut shop. It's a donut spot. And I'm biased. They started in North Carolina. So I feel like Krispy Kreme donuts are the best. Some people think that Dunkin' Donuts are the best. But the point is, my buddy and I, he's blind also. We were walking across a major intersection in our college city. It was probably a 4-lane situation. And so I had successfully made it across the street, but I didn't hear any word from him. Not, hey, bro, where are you? And he was in the middle of the intersection of the two streets. And I said, hey man, come, like, you got to come this way. You got to come this way. So I tell you that example because sometimes it's not that easy. But luckily he has a good friend. I smelled the donuts, but I went ahead and turned around and helped him out. I was ready to eat. So what we have here is probably not too exciting from the outside, but this is the building where all of our sports med facilities are housed. Chiropractors, athletic trainers, doctors, massage therapists, a lot of different massage or recovery tables that you can use. You have the hot plunge, you have the cold plunge, absolutely everything that you can need so that you can recover and get yourself ready for the next day of training.
Hey, Lex, I have a question for you.
I have an answer.
Okay, so obviously you've been on that campus for quite some time, I would imagine, throughout your athletic career and different endeavors. So we sighted people, sometimes we may not know a person we know that we might not know their name, we only know them by face, but you don't have that opportunity because of the obvious. You obviously can't see a person's face. Now, you just named all those people, chiropractors, coaches, massage therapists, and such. How quickly are you able to hear a voice and know who you're speaking with?
Instantaneously.
Okay.
Instantaneously. That's a really good question. And everyone, we all have distinct voices. We all have something about our voice that makes us, makes us who we are. And so for me, since I'm not able to see, those types of things I gravitate towards, and I listen to, and I'm able to use whatever those distinctions are or characteristics to determine that, okay, if somebody says my name, oh, hey, what's going on, Barbara? Or, hey, Katie, that's you. I know that's what you sound like. Oh, Danielle, or Greg, or Chris, whoever. So if we were to continue to have a conversation over the next, I'm gonna say 30, 45 minutes, I would be able to detect every single one of you easy. That's light work. So
pretty cool.
Absolutely. What we have right now is, after we crossed the street, I walked through a parking lot and I turned left and started declining down a hill. Now on this hill, you probably can tell it, but if not, there is a black mat, like a strip of track, if you will. And so this is where we do our hill training. And the reason that there is a black rubber mat on the asphalt is because when we're training, we have our spikes on, and we want to make sure that they're not digging into the concrete. So this rubberized surface gives us the ability to run up fast, and it also makes sure that we're not pounding our joints and muscles and everything on the concrete. So this is a 2-lane situation. So that actually gives me and my guide enough room to be able to run on this together. Now on the left-hand side of this, and let me know, I may have to move further down the street, I'm not sure, but there's a field on this side. And in this field is where all of the javelin throwers, discus throwers, hammer throwers, they all train in this field. Really big, a lot of space, an area where I make sure I stay away from, because that's the last thing I need is a javelin coming at me full speed. I wouldn't know where to go. Let's see. We're gonna continue to walk down the hill here. And this is, you know what? If everyone can I want you to close your eyes. If you're in the Zoom room, if you're on YouTube, close your eyes right now. I just want you to listen. Open your eyes. Could you hear that?
No.
Bird?
No, you couldn't? The bird, I heard somebody say it, the birds. You can hear the birds. Every single day, I get to hear the birds. It's beautiful. Sun shining out here in beautiful San Diego. There's something called it's expensive in San Diego. I'm not sure if you know. And they say it's because there's a sunshine tax. And I tell them, well, why are you taxing me on something I can't really see? That's not cool.
Lex, I got a question for you.
Alrighty.
What does your fitness regime look like in any given week, and how does your training equipment differ, if at all?
That's a great question because I'm actually down here at the track now. And on our left-hand side is our track house, which is where we do a lot of we warm up in the track house. I'll actually, if I can, I'll walk in. It's not probably the most exciting right now because of everything that is going on with the pandemic, but you would typically, you have all of your like equipment. This is a garage door that we'll open up so that we can go in and out. We have our mats here that we use and we can take outside. But this is the area where we kind of do a lot of our warming up when it's chilly outside. But for days like today, when it's beautiful outside, we would be out in the front of the track house in this grassy area here. So those mats that were in there, we would place all of the mats out here in this grass, and we would hit our warm-up lap, come back over here to this area, stretch, use foam rollers, get ourselves prepared for the training day. We have our lone tree that's in this grassy area. The tree is lonely. Then we have, I'm walking through the grass. Then we actually have the track itself. So I just stepped on the track. There's a lot of stuff going on out here right now, just equipment and hurdles and everything. But to answer your question, I train Monday through Friday down here on this track, typically with my guide, Wesley Williams. I'm sorry, it's a little windy out here. And each day is dedicated to a specific goal or what we're trying to achieve. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, are more of our technical days. So we're doing things that are very important. Speed, it could be speed endurance, it could be technical work, it could be drills, it could be lifting weights as well on those days. But always just trying to make sure that we're doing the things that our coach kind of wants us to achieve and accomplish. But we also have the Wednesdays and Thursdays. Those are the other 2 days of the week, right? And those days are more so for the active recovery. So Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays could be anywhere from 3 hours of training, 3.5 hours of training. Wednesdays and Fridays could be more of an hour and a half of training. So that's a really good question. And we have a really huge weight room up top that we utilize.
Are you friends with the other visually impaired long jumpers?
That's good. But we talk. I wouldn't say we're friends. There's a couple athletes who are American who I'm really good friends with. But I guess when you talk about foreigners, there are a couple athletes who, we speak and things like that. But I don't know if I would necessarily say we're friends. I will say I have a friend from Spain who are really good. We're good buddies. He helps me with my Spanish. So
I was curious, Lex, as far as your training, you know, leading up to like the Paralympic Games, does your intensity, does that go up as you get closer to that event, or is it pretty consistent? Or
as we get closer to the games, I would say within that last week or two, it scales down. So we taper off and make sure that we're in peak prime position to be able to go out there and do what we need to do. So in a normal training session, you may do 6 times 150 meter repeats with 3 minutes rest in between each repetition. But as you get closer to the games, you would have, let's just say, for example, 2 150 meter repeats with 7 minutes in between each one. But you want to run those as fast as possible. Whereas if you have 6 repetitions, you want to kind of gauge how much you can, the effort that you put out, so that you can continue to repeat that as, you know, as you continue through the training session.
Gotcha.
Now, I walked around to the long jump area. And now I would love for, I need a guide. Let me see. Let me call a name. Anish, I need
Yes,
you
Lex.
to. So what my guide does typically is he walks me to where I need to be in terms of starting the long jump. So I'm here in our long jump area, and I would love for you to direct me. I'm not sure if it's in this vicinity, but on the ground should be a black square mat. And it's probably, I'm gonna say like 25, 30 feet in front
if
of
you're
me.
trying to say something.
Hey, thanks. I can see it, Lex. So let
Okay.
me try and see if we can guide you.
So should I go straight? Should I go left? Should I go right?
So you want to go straight and keep going straight.
Okay, let's go straight.
You're getting there. Just keep
Okay.
walking straight. And then slightly to the right.
Slide to the right.
That's it. Yeah, and then walk straight. Straight, straight, straight. And you should be there about now.
And bingo.
Is that the mat? There it is.
Bingo. There we go. Don't take his job now, Anish. Don't take his job, please.
I'll try not to.
I know, hey, we could travel the world together. Let's see. So this black mat is where I start my jump. So this is about 115 feet away from the long jump pit. My guide, he takes me here, he sets me up, makes sure I'm straight, and then he jogs to the opposite end. So we're gonna walk down to the end where the long jump pit is. There's a lot of stuff out here. Some benches to my left-hand side. COVID-19. Somebody forgot to clean up. I don't know.
I have a really quick question. So you
Okay.
showed us that hurdle video earlier, and you said that your coach does a great job of like making you do the same activities as the other athletes. Have you
Right.
ever turned the tables on them and made them put blindfolds on to see how they would react, how to jump? And if so, how did that work out?
That's a good question. I never have. I guess, I don't know. I just feel like they might not, my training partners specifically, I feel like they might not be able to handle it. I don't know. But that'll be a definite, that should be I should bet them. We should have a bet and see who can do it better.
I like that because I would assume you're training with some, high caliber, world-class athletes.
Absolutely.
So that's a good humbling thing for them.
I will say I do train with Olympic gold medalists, Olympic silver medalists, Paralympic silver medalists, and bronze medalists. I'm not going to call any of their names, But if they are on the YouTube live stream, just know the challenge is coming in 2021.
So Lex, I have a question. What is the attitude, or how have you and the other Olympians and Paralympians handled having to deal with this year delay because of COVID? How are the spirits, or people just carrying on? Or tell me a little bit about that.
You know, I think that it probably varies from athlete to athlete. I know that initially it's definitely challenging, and it was something that I had to get over. But I think the biggest thing was knowing that it's just a postponing and not a cancellation. So that's the one thing that we can kind of find solace in, knowing that, okay, well, we still have a chance. And even though there's additional time, we can use that to maybe athletes were having some sort of injuries, or maybe athletes needed to.
I thought about that.
Like, so there's, you know, it's just all in making that mental, that shift, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I've looked at it the same way also. So I walked to the opposite end, and now we have, this is the long jump board area. This is where my guide stands. He actually stands in between the long jump board, which is here. You can hear it when you hit it. He stands in between that board and the sand pit. And so he sets himself up here, sees me. And the interesting thing is that when he's calling, he has to remember that when he's giving me directions, it's from my perspective. So if he wants me to go to his left, he has to tell me, hey, Lex, I need you to step to your right, or I need you to step to your left. So always something to keep in mind. And then once I get set up, that's when he fly. Then when I run, I jump. Most times you'll hear me hit this board, and then I land in the sand. Most times. So again, the wind is a little crazy, but you might see so there's a cone to the right-hand side. Can somebody confirm they can see that?
Yep.
Yes.
So that's my furthest jump. That's 22 feet 1 inch. That's 6.73 meters. Let's walk to it. Boom. Walking on the side here. Coming up on the cone. I'm hitting the cone with my cane. 22 feet right here. From that long jump board to where we're standing right here at this cone. And a lot of times, like, I never realize it because it happens so fast when it's real time, but that's crazy far. That's like jumping over a 2-lane street in America. Like, I could save the world, I think, if I needed to. But my goal is I want to go a foot further than that. I'm trying to hit the 23-foot barrier, 7 meters. I'll be a happy man.
How far did you jump in Rio?
I jumped 6.44 meters, so it was nowhere near what I needed to do. But the good thing is that there's always a second chance, right? Tokyo's coming up.
Got it here.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's really cool. I know that we'll definitely have some more chances for questions in a second, but I know that time is running out. But I want to so look at the side of this. Like, I'm standing. This is essentially the track as well. So I'm standing in between 2 long jump pits right now, and I wanted to bring this to your attention because I have a slogan, and the slogan is "No need for sight when you have a vision." And for me, it's not the sight that determines our success. For all of us, it's not the sight that determines our success. Is having that vision and doing everything in our power to bring that vision into fruition. And there was a competition that we had, 2015 World Championships, Doha, Qatar. And for whatever reason, I had a difficult time hearing my guide. That caused me to run, jump, and land on this side area right here.
Oh, yay.
Instead of landing inside the sand. I'm touching the sand right now. Sand is soft, feels good. And one of the things that they do is they actually wet the sand before a competition to ensure that it's even more soft. I landed on the side here though, and that was a challenge. It had never really happened to me before, but I was so energized on adrenaline, and I was at World Championships. At the end of the day, I wanted to win the gold medal. So I got up, I made sure that I was good, that I was healthy. And once I felt like I was good and was able to get through the medical test that I had to do with the officials, they let me come back to the competition.
Right.
And I, number one, first and foremost, wanted to let my guide know, Wesley, that everything was good. From a health standpoint, I'm fine, bro. Like, let's get out here and let's continue to do some amazing things. And the reason that I did that was because I wanted to make sure that he knew that in terms of trust, I wanted him to know that like, I still trust you. Just because we had this blunder, just because there was a mistake, I still trust you. And I want to get out here and I want to win. At the end of the day, I know that every single time that we step out here on this long jump runway with this sand pit, there's a possibility that something crazy could go wrong. Something bad can happen. But none of that scares me. And I think that whatever that we deal with in life, if we love it so much, we're willing to put it all on the line because we love it so much. And so that's how I felt at that particular time. Let's get it, man. And so I let him know that it was difficult for me to hear inside of the stadium. It was echoing a bit. It was challenging, but I still want to go after it. So he made the proper adjustments based off of what I was hearing. And specifically, so let's say I turn my camera around here. Let's say that Wesley, he's standing in the middle of the runway. If I tell him that, hey, Wesley, I feel like your voice, it sounds as though your voice is further to my left-hand side. And that could be because of the wind. It could be carrying his voice. So in that type of situation, he would move further to his left-hand side or my right-hand side, so that now, since he's not in the middle, when he claps, the wind will carry his voice to the middle of the runway, which would be more to the left-hand side. So now it sounds like he's in the middle of the runway instead of him being in the middle of the runway, yet his voice is further to my left-hand side. Hopefully I'm explaining that correctly. So he steps off from the middle of the runway to make sure that sound carries to the middle of the runway. That sounds better. And that helps me to understand that, okay, I'm good now. It sounds as though his voice is straight, directly down the middle of the runway. I'm confident, I can run strong, I can count my 16 strides, I can jump, and I can land in the sand. And so that was the adjustment that we made in Qatar. And that last jump that I had ended up being my best jump of the competition. And I was able to kind of overcome whatever that that previous blemish was. But I point that out because I feel like a lot of us in March and April, when we all were affected by the pandemic, it kind of feels that same way, right? You feel as though you may run and crash and burn on the side of the long jump pit. And we all were trying to figure out what the next move was going to be, how we were going to overcome, how we were going to tackle the obstacles at hand. Now it's like you're having to work from home, your kids are at home, and you're having to stay home. And maybe, unfortunately, some people are losing their jobs, and it's super challenging. And it feels like you land on the side of this long jump pit. It's like, man, where do I go from here? But at the end of the day, I think that leading up to 2020, we were all excited about what was to come. We were excited about, oh man, 2020, that's the number that indicates perfect eyesight. Like, oh man, 2020 vision. People worried about being the best that they could be from a physical standpoint, from a workout standpoint. I want to lose X amount of pounds. I want to get this job. I want to do this for my kids. I want to do that for my parents. We had all of these different goals and aspirations, and unfortunately the pandemic has seemed to throw a monkey wrench in all of our plans. But the one thing that helped me when I landed on this on the side of this long jump pit here was, I know at the end of the day I have Wesley, I have my guide, and I think for all of us, we have someone who we can genuinely connect to and connect with, someone who we can have that authentic just link with them and connect with them. And that is what has helped us all, and that's what will help us continue to get through. So I just want to encourage you to don't give up on 2020. It's July 26th right now, maybe July 27th in some countries where you are right now, but we still have 5 months left. Like, there's still amazingness to achieve in 2020. Don't give up on 2020. I landed on the side of this long jump pit, but I was able to get up, and each of you is here. You're breathing. Your heart is beating. Everyone on YouTube watching, you're breathing. Everything is it's life. We can fight through it, whatever it is. Just connect with those who love you, who care for you, and who generally they literally want to see you succeed. They want to see you run through life. They want to see you run down these runways, whatever it is, and they want to see you jump and fly through the air. So I just want to leave you with that word, because I know it's hard right now, and we're still probably trying to figure out what the next moves are. I don't know what that next normal, that new normal will look like, but connect with those who literally who love you, who care for you, who have that genuineness, and who want to help you succeed. Because what Wesley does for me is he helps me to forget about whatever my shortcomings are, what I may believe are my shortcomings. And that's what the people who we love and care about do for us. They help us to get past those moments. And when we latch onto them, we're able to ascend and elevate to places that we would have never, ever imagined going before. So don't give up on 2020, please. We still have a lot to achieve in 2020 and beyond. So I want to open it up. If we have any questions, I certainly have. I know we're over time, but if you have any questions, definitely shoot them at me, and I'll tackle them as best I know how.
Lex, thank you so much. I actually just realized you're they illustrated you and put you on the main Airbnb website. in your
really?
blue glasses.
Man,
It's
that's crazy.
very superhero-like. You go to Airbnb.com, it's you. There's a picture of you long jumping.
That's crazy.
It's
I
awesome.
didn't see that.
They just need to add the no fear banner.
Yeah. It's you looking upward. You have the blue glasses and wearing a jersey that says USA.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
I was curious, Lex, just going back to an actual long jump. And when you're actually in the air and flying and about to land, do you have an idea in your mind about, how far you've gone, or, do you kind of sense that?
You know what? That's a good question. There are definitely a lot of times where I'm able to sense how far I jump. But there's also been times where I felt like I've had monster jumps, and then they announce it over the PA system. I'm like, that can't be right. That can't be right. I know it's further than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't. There's certainly been times where I've been like, oh, that was a good one. But there's also been times where I didn't think that it was a good jump, and it ended up being a monster jump. Like the first time I broke the world record, I thought that was just a normal situation, but it ended up being the best jump of my life. So it's definitely hard, but I think that at the end of the day, I just have to continue to do what I can and control what I can, which is run as fast as possible and try to jump as far as I can and let them measure that jump and let me know what it is.
Lex, is that the record you're trying to break? Your previous record? Is that what you're training for now?
Yes.
That jump? Oh, yes. Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm trying to, of course, the goal is to go to Tokyo and win gold. So that should be, it'll be fun. We got a lot of time to get ready. So I'm excited about it.
You ever been to Japan before?
I've been to Okinawa, Japan, but never Tokyo. So after I'm done competing, I have an airplane above my head. After I'm done competing, my top 2 goals are to go compete, win gold, and then goal 2 is to go to Disneyland after it's all over.
Nice.
Tokyo Disney, yes.
Tell us one thing that that as a blind person, you don't think that us sighted people would be shocked to hear that you've done or that you've attempted to do. It doesn't have to be athletic related, just something that would blow our minds, just out of curiosity.
Something that I've done that people would think is crazy. I would say that, I've walked the streets of Las Vegas by myself, just on some, I just want to explore and kind of, find things and figure. Actually, I mean, I say that, but on this particular trip, I was in search of something specific. I wanted to get a Louis Vuitton backpack. And so I was walking around the Las Vegas Strip, and I was using a service called Aira. And so Aira helps the blind and visually impaired navigate the world. And so with Aira, I was able to find the LV store, the Louis Vuitton store. I went and bought the backpack that I had in my mind that I wanted, purchased that, and then in the process, I missed my first flight. But I ended up catching the next flight, which was like 4 or 5 hours later, and I was able to fly back to San Diego. So, that was pretty fun. I like going on different adventures and just figuring out things.
That's cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
How has it been for you adjusting to the kind of COVID world where now everybody's on Zoom and everybody's through like a screen for the most part? How has that been different for you?
It's been, I think when I first started doing Zoom sessions, it was different because whenever I go to in-person events, it is me gaining a lot from listening to the crowd and hearing laughs and smiles, and people may sniffle and cry and things like that. And so I get a lot from that. And so now when you move to the Zoom environment, where most times people are on mute and I'm not able to hear anything. So it's like, where do you get that engagement from now? But what I found out is that in the Zoom world, I've been able to listen to myself, and a lot of bug flying, man. A lot of it is just I'm so focused on what everybody else is saying and what they're doing, but now I'm able to truly listen to myself and hear my own voice. And I feel like that creates a certain type of connection as well, that I feel like people have been able to experience also. It sounds weird, but it's like I'm talking, I'm listening to myself and like experiencing whatever those events are again. And it has just been a deeper connection that I've been able to have with people on the other side. So something like this, though, where we're just walking around, conversing, having a good time, I definitely encourage people to stay off of mute and ask questions and give comments, because I feel like it's important for what we're doing. And there are certain things as we walk around, maybe you see something and you want to ask a question about that. So I think depending on whatever the situation is, kind of dictates how you facilitate it.
Are there things we could do to be more helpful, like saying our names before we speak, or just kind of unmuting and you can hear us laughing at your jokes and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, well, of course, I love when people laugh at my jokes. It makes me feel good. I don't think that saying. I think maybe in the beginning stages when you meet people for the first time is helpful to say names and things like that. But after a while, I encourage people to not say the names, because that's also a challenge for me to say, "Hey, Lex, who is this talking?" and trying to determine who it is. And I get a lot of good feeling from that, knowing that I can pick someone out by how they sound. That's a really good question.
You gave a great answer.
Awesome. Well, any more questions? I don't want to keep everybody, but if we're doing
I just want to make a comment, Lex. Your eyes are so beautiful. They are so big and so beautiful. Your eyes.
I appreciate it. I just, whenever I do like videos, and record things and stuff like that, it's funny because I don't think people realize that I have my phone, and so I'm able to read Twitter comments or Instagram comments or Facebook, and so you read certain things and people are like, oh man, is somebody gonna tell him that he's not looking at the camera, or is somebody gonna tell him that this, that, and third? And it's like, it's funny. It's like it's funny. Did you get the memo? I mean, there's a reason for that. Yeah, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to enjoy my life and have a good time and educate people, and not only with sport and Paralympics, but just living life daily. I mean, there's nothing too different as to what I do. Of course, there's different adaptations and things like that. But if you were to follow me 24/7, then you would probably just be like, okay, I'm trying to find something more interesting. Like, he just lives life like I would. So in a lot of ways too, I think that if you were to walk around your house and you were blindfolded, you would be able to probably do that pretty easily. That's your domain. That's your home. You know where to turn. You know when to go up and down stairs. You know where the kitchen is, your bedroom is. If you wake up in the middle of the night at 2:45, I can't really imagine. I could be wrong, but you might go to the bathroom and not turn the lights on. Like, you're not trying to disturb your sleep. Like, you want to go use the bathroom, get back to the room, and resume your sleeping. So, I mean, it's a similar type of situation for me. I just, I've been here for a decent amount of time. I know everything about the facility, and I'm able to maneuver and navigate successfully without a second thought. So the more we become familiar with an area or a particular thing, the easier it is for us to navigate it. And that is for anything that we do. The more we prepare ourselves and the more comfortable we are, it it just makes whatever that situation is a lot easier to tackle. So yeah, I appreciate that though. But it's getting quiet, guys. I appreciate you. Because that is one thing that I can do. I can't hear well. But it's getting quiet. I appreciate you hanging out with me and engaging and asking questions. Everybody on YouTube, if you are still there, I appreciate you watching and hanging out. I hope that you were able to grasp something, learn something, and hopefully be able to, something within this my environment, this long jump area. Hopefully it was able to spark something within you so that you can navigate down whatever runway you're moving on. Hopefully you're able to navigate down that runway and leap into whatever dream or vision that you have. So I really appreciate each and every single one of you. And I'm on social media, on all of the Twitters and Instagrams and Facebook. If you want to continue to follow me, I'm very responsive on most of the social sites. And if you wouldn't mind also leaving me a review, let Airbnb let them know I didn't do a bad job. But I really appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope that each of you stays safe and stays healthy. And always remember, it's not the sight that determines our success. It's having that vision and doing everything in your power to bring that vision into fruition. So
thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thanks, Lex.
I
Really
appreciate it,
man.
Thanks.
Thank
Really
you.
informative,
All right.
and educational, inspirational.
Thank you.
Inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go
Thank
Team
you.
USA.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Favorites, go Team USA.
Thank you.
And congrats, Barbara, on your first grandbaby. If she's
Yes,
still
congrats.
here. Yes. All right. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye now.